Welcome, everybody, to the weekly Facebook Live with As If by Magic. Happy to see you all popping on here. Hello, hello. So, what are we going to talk about today? Well, today, the topic of your creation of reality is what I want to talk about today. So you might, what do I mean by that? So I was actually observing my kids the other day, and we were talking about different things like sports, like groups that people belong to. And hi, Marina. Hello, beautiful. And my littlest said, I hate sports. I'm not sporty. And there was like this really interesting energy about, and I tapped in from his reality. So what we know is our point of view creates our reality, right? This is something that we learn. For those of you brand new to Access Consciousness, this might be the first time you're ever hearing this. Amazing tool, but your point of view actually creates your reality. So he was aware of this point of view, and he was crafting this point of view as part of his reality. He's not like sporty. And then I said to him, well, you really like basketball? He's like, yeah. I'm like, and you really like to play hockey? He's like, yeah. And I'm like, and you really like to play all these sports? He's like, yeah. And I'm like, so what is it about being sporty that you don't want to be? Hi, Claire. Magical greeting from Amsterdam. Woo! I target to get to the Netherlands. It's Amsterdam all over the place over there. That's one of my asks for the future. So I really started to look at that. I started to look at where even, and it's cool to observe this from kids and then start to go into your own life with it. So I was looking at, we have these cliques, right? Different cultures will have different types of cliques, but it can be even just wealthy and non-wealthy. It's where we divide and we separate and we create identities for ourselves. The sporty kid will wear the sporty clothes. They want everything kind of sporty. The kind of edgy kid's going to want the edgy stuff. There was like a big, some kids were like emo in my high school. So they were wearing like kind of grungy clothes. Like they were very emoty. They'd have like black lipstick and stuff like that. So they're creating these identities and crafting their reality from that. Okay. And it was also a way for people to ping off of them so that they could almost, this is my awareness, is how much of that is to even control how you show up in someone else's reality. Make sure you appear this way. Make sure that you appear professional if you're going to an interview. Make sure that you appear mature if that's what's required in that situation, or make sure you appear youthful in another situation. So the creation of your reality, how many of you have used definition of you in the creation of your reality? And what if you allowed yourself to undefine you, but still explore and have that exploration of what is truly appealing to you? Okay, so let's even take your wardrobe. So if you were to pull, hi, Leonie. Oh, Claire says yes, come. All right, I'm coming. So if you pulled every single item out of your wardrobe, okay, let's say you did that, and then let's say as if by magic you created the body that you've always wished you could have. Maybe you already have that body. Okay, so you've created this body. How many of those items that you pulled out of your wardrobe would you actually put back in? And oh, I forgot to tell you, you now have a budget. You have a $50,000 clothing budget. Yes, that's my reality. That's what I'm asking for. So so a lot of us, we receive clothing, or you pick up what's on sale, or you shop within the store, what the stores offer in the place that you live in. That is, so how much of that is just pulling from all these other realities and trying to construct your reality from the materials laid out before you? I remember being a young person, and I would get a sense of like, oh, I really want this kind of jacket, and I could never find it anywhere. And what I realized was I was aware of something that hadn't been created yet. So I couldn't find my reality anywhere. And at one point, I even looked into creating my own clothing line because I was like, the clothes that I want don't exist. So I might have to be the person that creates them. So, how many of you, the things that you would like in your reality doesn't actually exist yet? So you have been settling for the realities presented to you and creating them and using those materials to create your reality. Everything that is times a godzillion, we destroyed and created, please. Right, wrong, good and bad, pack and pod, all nine shorts, boys and beyond. So that is the Access Consciousness clearing statement. For those of you brand new to Access or the clearing statement, you can get more information at theclearingstatement.com. And it's really a set of words that we use to clear energy. It is from Access Consciousness, which everything as if by magic comes from Access Consciousness. So yeah, Leonie says, what? Nothing goes back into my closet. Oh, Jewel cuts. I cut my shirts to make them fit. I cut my clothes. I've done that too. Yeah. You can alter them and you could play with them. So there is like, you can use the stuff presented to you. So you could use parts of this reality, right, to create something that works. But what if you also could go beyond this reality and draw in things that have never existed here before for you, for your body? It's not just clothing, guys. It's everything. It's even, I've been really looking at my business. News people have joined me in my business, and it's been amazing, the change and everything. And what I really realized is like, I can't compare my business to any other business I know because it is so different. Because I really created my business from beyond this reality. I looked at the things that I desired and started to pull these elements together and pull these people together, and more and more and more. It just keeps becoming greater and greater and greater and greater. So part of it was being aware of, what have I already witnessed? And so this is actually a really cool exercise that you can do. And Gary recommends, he calls it shopping for your reality. Okay. So you can try on someone else's reality for a while. Back to the kids, is I've seen kids do this. I know I did it totally for a while. They try on a whole reality. They change the clothes, they change the attitude, they start listening to different music. You've probably seen that. You've probably done it. So you try on this reality, and part of the gift of that is the first thing that's going to become obvious to you usually is the things that you don't like about it. So, okay, I don't really like this. I don't really like that. I don't really like that. So you put all those molecules aside. What do you like about it? I like this, but I would like turn it a little bit. I would change it a little bit. I'd have this. And then you start to play with all these molecules of possibility. And then you go, what else could I add? And what else could I add? And what else could I add? And that's how you get to create your own reality, not trying to fit on someone else's reality. So I was even looking at so I just did, so I am the owner, the creator, the founder of As If by Magic as a specialty for Access Consciousness. But I also have a business titled Cassy Summers. So it's the other stuff that I do that magic is obviously weaved into everything that I do, but it's not necessarily all that I talk about. We looked at rebranding to give a clear distinction between the two entities, and also just to match the energy more of how much change I've gone through and how much change the business has gone through and how different it is now. And so as we were looking at these things, we created something called a Pinterest board. So those of you that might know Pinterest, it's an online, it's a free app. It's also, you can have it on your computer, and I love it. It's addictive. It's so much fun. And you create kind of like a board, and you pull in all the elements of the things that you like. And I remember when I first started to pull in the elements, a lot of it was stuff that was like old stuff. And I started to ask myself, do I actually like this? Like, I like it, but do I like it for me? And this is something you could do with your clothing too. So you might like some of the items, like, oh, this is beautiful and this is so comfortable and this is so nice. Do you like it for your body? Does your body enjoy wearing it? Does it actually match the vibration that you are now? Curious. And playing with those realities. You might have this idea that you want this giant home, like huge, huge, huge mansion. And then after spending a month in it, you're like, wow, this is actually, I just want like a little home on a huge piece of property, and where I basically live outside with the earth. So trying on these realities can give you a greater sense of what you actually like and what you don't like. But you have to be aware that you're doing it, because what we'll do is we'll often become the reality that our parents have set for us, either in alignment and agreement or in resistance and reaction to it. Let that seep in just for a second so y'all can look at that for yourself. So how much of your reality is constructed based on the alignment and agreement, or the resistance and reaction to your parents' realities and the reality your parents set out before you? Everything that is times a gazillion, we destroy and create it, please. Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nine shorts, boys and beyond. I had, for 7 years, I had a mohawk. You've probably seen photos. And a lot of people asked me, are you doing this to rebel? Are you doing this like kind of as though I had some like resistance and reaction? But it really actually came from a choice of an awareness of what my body was asking for. A destabilization of the life that I had chosen, and the solid futures I was creating based on that life. So there's a difference between that energy and, you want me to be a doctor? Well, I'm going to be an artist. or you say that I have to work hard for my money. I'm going to find ways to not work hard for my money, not from the awareness that it's possible, but from the fight of it, which creates a lot of difficulty, actually. So how many of you have created your reality based on the alignment and agreement or resistance to reaction of your parents, your family, your society, your culture, and this reality? Everything that is times a godzillion, we just train and create it, please. Right, wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nine shorts, boys and beyond. Dr. Aiton says, recently I've realized that my body desires different clothes, like more joyful. Thank you for all this. Yeah. And your reality is the aesthetics. Absolutely. It's embodiment. It's also the way you see the world. It's the way that you interact with the world, how you receive it, perceive it, who you show up as. So even it's really interesting to look at the reality of, so, okay, example again, my littlest kid, he kind of loves school. He really loves like circle time. He really loves all of the kind of different centers and the way that school works. He loves the socialization. He is such a social kid. He actually likes doing crafts and all this stuff. So he loves school. My oldest hates it. And lately, my youngest has started to buy the reality of my oldest kid. And I hear him say, I hate school. He'll be in the morning, oh, I hate school. And then I'll remind him of his reality. Because every Friday he has to write in like a journal. And usually he says, this is the best school ever. I love school. I love my life. That same line over and over and over, almost every Friday. So he said, well, can you tap into that energy? So which is more true for you? Because it's okay to like things that other people don't like. It's okay to have your reality, even if it's so different than everyone else's. Whether it's with embodiment, with your body, with money, with business, relationship. Oh my gosh, relationship. My reality with relationship is so different. I have not yet met anyone even similar. Your reality with the earth, your reality with everything. Your creation of reality. So if you were able to take, so we use the closet analogy, right? You pulled everything out of your closet. You had unlimited amounts of money to resupply. What would you put back? So what if you did that with your reality? You pulled out all the points of view. You throw them on the bed. Okay, you pull all the points of view out. You pull all the limitations, all the predictable futures, everything you've been told was true, everything you've been told you were, all the definitions of you. Yep. Put them on the bed, and you have infinite energy, of infinite possibility. Which of those would you put back in your reality? I hear people that they talk about, oh, I love going on vacation because nobody knows me. And I get to just kind of have my own reality. I get to show up as who I really am. Some people use alcohol or recreational drugs for that, an excuse of, oh, sorry, I was behaving that way. I had too much to drink, as a way to access who they are uncontrolled. So what would you put back into your reality? Would you be the responsible one? Would you be the irresponsible one? Would you be the intellectual? Would you put that back into your reality? Would you put being the flaky one back into your reality? And now let's add magic to the mix, because we are here to talk about magic, aren't we? So how many of you have actually had a magical reality that was never acknowledged? And did you take it out? Is it like tucked under your bed? Do you want to take it out? Do you want to put it back into your reality? My reality used to be parking spots, okay? No matter what, even if it was a day where like there should be like nobody downtown because everything's closed, but I have to go downtown for some reason, I will not find a parking spot near where I'm going ever. That was my reality, because I had bought that I was unlucky. I had bought that I was unworthy. And I bought that life just had to be difficult for me. Guess what? That was never actually my reality. That was someone else's reality. Now, I get parking spots when I should not get parking spots. And I receive things that I should not receive. I have ease in places where no one should be having ease because that's my reality now. Because they took out all the other stuff because it wasn't even mine. So start to notice, and there might be stuff that you don't even cognitively know. For example, if you look at if you have a business right now, or maybe you just have a career, okay? So I'm going to use business for example. What molecules of your business are from someone else's reality that doesn't actually resonate with you? Would you like to pull them out? Just pull them on out. You put them in the donation bin. Sure, someone will want them. Okay, now let's perceive your body. So how much did you create your body based on someone else's reality? And it could be, again, it could be the alignment and agreement of it, or the resistance and reaction of it. Okay, so all, whoa, there we go. Whew, all of that, will you pull it out, pull it out, pull it out, pull it out. And discard it. You don't need to have that as part of your creation of body anymore, as part of your reality with bodies anymore. Okay, now get a sense of your reality with money, finance, revenue, cash, gold, platinum, gems, jewels. So how much of your reality with all of that isn't actually your reality and doesn't truly resonate with you as true? Now, this can be cognitive. You might be getting actual answers and you might be getting a sense of this, and you might just be perceiving energy or thinking that you're blank. Will you pull all of that out that's not yours now? Dissipate, release, distrain and create it, discard it. Right, wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nine shorts, boys and beyond. You know, I've heard often, growing up for me, it was, you need to be realistic, Cassie. Like, be realistic about like your career, or be realistic about blah blah blah. Because I had a fantastical capacity to create, and my point of view was that anything was possible. Like anything, absolutely anything, absolutely and I mean anything was possible. That was my point of view. That's just how I came into the world. And I would hear over and over from different people, you have to be realistic. How are you going to do that? How are you going to accomplish this? How are you going to actualize this? Well, I didn't know. What I didn't know then was that I didn't need to know the how, because I'm terrible at the how, by the way. But I learned later that that's actually the universe's job. So if only I had employed the universe when I was a child. Yeah. So I bought that as true and real because I heard it so many times. Everyone was saying it. Hi, Emily. You have to be realistic. So how much of that are we being that way with money? Be realistic. But what if your reality with money is quite magical? There is no realistic in magic. Magic, it goes beyond. So, I recently watched The Neverending Story with my kids. I love that movie growing up. It was one of my favorites. I watched it over and over and over and over again. And I've been waiting to watch it with my kids. Like, when is the time? When is the time? When is the time? And the other night it was so light. It was like, this is the time. Okay, they're like totally going to receive this. We watched this movie. The conversations were amazing. That this that this movie actually ignited. And there's this part where the little boy, they're kind of asking him to be the magic he came here to be, and he said, I can't. I have to keep my feet on the ground. It's like that energy of be grounded, be realistic. And we were all like shouting at the TV, you don't have to. You don't have to keep your feet on the ground. So where did you buy that if you didn't keep your feet on the ground, if you weren't realistic, that you would either end up poor on the street, or your body would be a mess, or your relationships would end? What were you told about other people's realities as the right reality that you bought? And again, sometimes it's not with words, sometimes it's just an energy. Sometimes you're just psychic and you're picking up what's going on in your parents' heads. What if you could create your reality like every day? And you don't create it as this solid thing. It becomes like a breathing, living, always evolving creation. So your reality today might be, it might be, I'm going to join Cirque du Soleil and I'm going to like perform and learn all of these amazing things that you could do with your body. And then a day or two later, you might have tried on that reality energetically and you're like, oh, that's actually really cool, but it's not really my reality. Kind of like clothing. Oh, I tried that on and it's really beautiful, but actually doesn't vibrate as me right now in these 10 seconds. Emily says, oh, nowadays I love money in my bank account. Was always broke for years since I remember, and now that magically changed since the pandemic. Oh, wow, that's amazing. And that's a totally different reality, because a lot of people, or a lot of people talking about it anyways, are, since the pandemic, are having financial difficulties, financial crises. We have businesses shutting down that have been open for years. We have all of this stuff going on. And so for someone to thrive financially during a pandemic is a totally different reality. Thank you for choosing that. And here's the last thing, because we're going to probably end here in a minute, but when you're willing to actually choose your reality and choose to be in the creation of your reality, you open up spaces for other people to choose their reality. How cool is that? So you being like you being willing to have the most wonderful things you've ever dreamed of actually make the world a better place. Who knew? So play with that. I invite you to try on some different realities that you've never tried on. Explore. Empty your closets. You could write down what's every single point of view that you have about money. What's every single thing you've ever been taught about money and finance, counting, everything. Write it down as though you're pulling it out of your closet, and then ask which ones are light to put back in. Some of them, you're going to have some really valuable, really cool stuff. And other stuff you're going to be like, wow, that's just not my point of view. That's actually not true for me at all. Oh, I just realized someone up here said what tool to use to actualize the $50,000 for clothes. Yeah. Well, you could ask the universe. You could get a sense of what it would be like to have $50,000 committed to clothing. Get a sense of what that would be like. Acknowledge that energy. Acknowledge that energy as a part of your reality now. And now, here's the how part. Hey, universe, what would it take to have this? What do I need to choose? What do I need to lose? What do I need to be? What do I need to gain to actualize it faster than I ever imagined possible, as if by magic? Anything that doesn't allow that, we all just train and create it, please. Right and wrong, good and mad, POC and POD, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. And now just follow the lightness, follow the breadcrumbs, and it will show up because you created it by your request. So you just keep choosing towards it to allow it to actualize. And Lisa's pandemic in 2020 was so great for me opening up for my reality. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that with us. And how much more can all of us open up to our realities and have way too much fun? Would you be willing to be the kid that just dives in? I love it. You'll have this quiet kid and they'll be like, I'm a punkster now. And they suddenly have like pink hair and listening to punk rock and they just go for it. Just go for it. Nothing's permanent. Try it. Try it for a bit. See what you like about it. See what you don't like about it. Also takes the seriousness out of it. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for this conversation. It was amazing. Super grateful for all of you joining these weekly Facebook Lives. And we'll see you next Thursday. Bye for now.